Hi there. Thank you so much for once again spending time with me today. On the I Am series, I'm Mishka, and we are on mishka.com. And if just want to invite you to go and watch all these episodes, if you haven't seen them before, I'm talking about the I Am factor that I believe is in every single person. It is that factor that we're born with that is actually so beautiful and that is intact no matter where you've been, what circumstances you've come out of, whatever has happened in your life. And my heart's desire is to inspire people to get back to that, because that's a strong, strong factor. It's something that is so good that if we only take the time to find out who we are and what our real purpose is, that thing that's never tarnished because of our circumstances, it would really, really make such a big difference to our lives. Personally, I found it out, and that's why I'm sharing it with everybody else. Unfortunately, I don't have time to share that every week, and therefore, please watch all of the videos. It will give you far more of a reason and understanding of what we're busy with. But today, I'd like to talk to you whether you are in business or even planning to go in business, into business. Now, why is the I Am factor so important of understanding who we are when we're in business or we're planning to go into business? I find that oftentimes today a lot of people who are in business because they really just had to do something to get a form of income. That is where we are. That's the time that we're living in. So very few people in business today might even be people that really grew up knowing, from the word go, this is what I'm going to do one day, So I like to throw a lot of things out of the window when I speak to you, and not disregarding what a lot of very learned people says. I've been a business consultant for many years, so I've seen a lot of factors. I've seen how it happens in the corporate world and the difference it makes, and why are the entrepreneurs sometimes struggling. I've got such a passion for entrepreneurs, and I understand how it feels to actually be you need to go and do absolutely everything, and you need to make a success of this business. And when you are almost forced into that because you get retrenched, or you just simply don't have anything else to do, a lot of people revert back to doing business. And it's so interesting. Over the years, I've seen how some of it just naturally evolve, Some people just have that thing, I start to sell something, that's it, I'm making money. Fantastic. That's it. That's what it is. Basically, business is trading. But what difference does it make when we understand the I Am factor? Remember, that's what I want to talk to you about today. If you want to see more about business, then you can always tune in on our Let's Talk Business programs and videos that's online as well. But today, I want to relate us as business people to the I Am factor that's inside of us. So what am I talking about? Let's take a scenario of business. So why do we go into business? Already, if I go into business, because I am under pressure to make an income. Can you see? So it is the circumstance that dictated the fact that I'm in business. It doesn't make it wrong, but it could cause that we don't have sound foundations. It could cause that we make the wrong decisions. It could be that I start in business and I've got no idea what to do, but because I'm forced to do it. And when you and I look at the I Am factor, I always want to pull you back to that factor that is inside of us that will sort of almost instinctively lead us to where we're supposed to be. So, let's take a scenario and say, there we are. I've got to start a business. And I need the income. Let's say you are at that place. What difference does it make if we know who we are, we understand who the I Am is that's inside of me, when I make the decision to go into business? it's got such a huge impact on it, because it's going to also determine what we're going to get into business. So what trade are we going to start to go into? It's directly linked to the passion that's in our hearts, because a business very much rely on us, especially if it's one of your small, medium enterprises. It could rely on us having to do it. And that I am factor is the factor that's going to keep you going. That's the passion. It's going to come from there. Now, it doesn't mean that you will know everything, but because of the fact that if we know this is my purpose, I am better at this makes me tick, that is the thing that I have to know. Who am I? So when I'm in business, it makes it so much easier to represent who I am. Does it mean I become my business? No, never. Business is always a separate entity from us. It's always separate from who we are, because we don't want all of that coming to our business also to come to us. So it's a skill that I speak a lot more about in the Let's Talk Business videos. So you can listen to that. We have to learn how to put our businesses separate from ourselves, because every knock that our business take, we can't take on ourselves. However, when we go into business and we know who we are, and we make the business decision based on that fact, we are going to be far more successful. Also, it may very well be that when we live a life of understanding our purpose, of finding out who we are, we may even be a little bit further ahead and not be in a situation where we're forced to go into a business, perhaps. Because then, if we know who we are, we can actually slowly but surely work towards that, which is far healthier for any person. It is healthy when you may be still in a position that you're employed and you know you want to start in a business and you're an entrepreneur and you want to go into it, but you have that income coming from somewhere else. Understand, whoever you're working for, I believe if you're an entrepreneur to heart, you're an entrepreneur in somebody else's business, but you will still learn. You and I learn, even if we're still employed by somebody else. So the day that you walk out into your own business, that other business that you have given your best to may have not been your own, but it definitely still has the potential to develop the person that you have to be to become successful in your own. And the I am factor is very important in business. So if people are going to come to us in negotiation, that's just one thing. So negotiation is one of the things that business people sometimes don't do. I speak to business people, I say, hey, you've got to make money. You've got to have your boundaries in place. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have confidence in your product. Now, when I know who I am, it's far easier to be confident, isn't it? I establish a level when I start to do business that comes from that. I establish who I am, and when I even start to take employees in, my employees do not feel, afraid and fearful, because it's far better to deal with a person who knows exactly who they are and they're comfortable with who they are than trying to be something. You see, business, remember I spoke to you before that the I am factor is also when we're looking at that clothing, when we try to put on something that's too small and we just stay in it, or we keep that shoe on whether it's too small or too big. We're just going to wear it because somebody else says we should do it or whatever. It's not the way it works. When we understand the I am, we know who we are. And that is so needed in our business environment. People tell me, they say, man, I don't understand why I'm struggling in business. And I say, I do find it sometimes a little bit hard to understand, because there is such a need in business for good customer service. There's some little thing that will change around your business in a moment. You see, people want to be heard. People want to feel special. People want to feel that whatever you offer them is because they are important. And you know that the best person that can actually do that is a person who knows who they are. So your product or your service might possibly be very much linked to who you are. It's far better to run something where you feel more comfortable, something that you've got knowledge of, something that is linked to that I am factor. You see, that I am factor is an instinct very often. And when we run in business, I always say this, there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm. I cannot explain this. You know, people understand that when I have to do a dance, a professional dance, that I've got to be taught how to do it. And there's a way, you know, that we dance, a way that that people have to turn their bodies, because we've got an audience looking at us. I mean, goodness gracious, a professional dancer will get nobody coming to watch them unless they do it in a way that is a display. You know, that's why people come. Oftentimes we do business not understanding. We are on display. And what do we display out there? Why do some people do so well in business and others just can't seem to make it? You see, I do believe that the one person that knows that they're going to be that dancer, or the person that's the athlete that spends a lot of time training, understanding that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this good. If I'm going to do this, I need to see all the different angles. It's a confident person that does that. A confident person is a person who knows who they are. I cannot dance unless I understand that's what I've been made for. There's an instinctive knowing that if that is who I am, that is what I want to go and give out to the world. Can you see how directly that's linked to our businesses? So oftentimes we get a lot of people and says, man, I can give you this business and you're going to make so much money. And we're trying to form ourselves into a different person, you know, selling something. And I'm not saying this is wrong. There are levels that we deal with. So you might be doing very well in it. But unfortunately, the success factor in those industries are not that high because we're trying to mimic another person. And now at some point we're like, oh my goodness, I can't do this anymore because it's not coming from inside. It is something that we had to sort of learn, or we were under pressure and so forth. When it is something that you're very good at, and you've got a passion for, and you start to move forward, and you start to look at it in a different way, you start to see, how can I present my product that would make it fun and make people, love this product? If we know who we are, and that creativity comes out of us when we start to sell it, people see it in our faces. Our employees see it. I mean, and they get excited about it. They sometimes have got no reason why they're excited, but they are, because they are led by a leader who's excited about what's happening. Can you see there's confidence? And when we are in business and we understand the I am factor, we will negotiate and we will not budge on our prices. We will not give something away when we understand how precious it is. So we'll know that I've got to go in market-related prices. We will make good decisions. When pressure is on, what do? You see, a person who understands who they are, when I know who I am, when I'm under pressure, oftentimes, I just start to thrive, because when I'm in that sweet spot and I know this is who I'm made to be, then actually when the pressure comes, for me I enjoy it, because I sort of say, bring it on, because you start to shine, because you know exactly who you are. You know where the next step must be. You see, that dancer, the best dancer is going to get the first prize. You see, they've got to know how to do a trick maybe, or I don't know what you call them, but the steps that a dancer does that gets the first prize, that dancer did a different step than the other one. Am I right? So in business, when we know who we are, and we're starting to do business with that inside of us, we will start to bring in something that other people would never expect. We bring in something that's different. We start to think creatively. We start to just be so comfortable with who we are. All of a sudden, I don't see my difficult client as a difficult client. I say, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful for you, because I missed that. We don't take it personal, because now I know where I am is the right place. And if that client is unhappy and he says, you're not doing a good job of it, I say, you're right, I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually change that. Thank you. You're helping me. See, confidence. It becomes like that dance. It is not this drudgery. It's not this, oh my goodness, I've got to get out of bed today. Where am I going to get sales? How am I going to make money? I'm not thinking the whole time about my bank account. If you're listening to me and you're running a business and your business is going through a difficult time, I want to tell you today, think, go deep. Don't go outside. The answer is living. It's right there in that I am factor. Who are you? What is the passion inside of you? What makes you tick? And put that back into your business. And you go and find out that other people are going to be so excited and you're going to bring value out there that people are willing to pay for. You see, people don't part with their money. That's one of the things that life's all about. Business is all about getting another person to part with their money. I mean, really, why do people part with their money? You've got to give them value. And the other thing is there's somebody else next door that's going to give them a value if we don't do it. We've got to understand the difference between value and leverage. I can't talk about that on this program. That's on Let's Talk Business. But we've got to start to know who we are. Because that makes it fun. That makes it confidence. That makes it that I don't care about the place that I am, because I know there's a season and I'm going to jump right into the next one again. I know that I have to pace it, because now we are not doing something that somebody else told us to do. Now we're doing something that's inside of us. You see, I see people trading on the corner, and I have so much respect for that. Now, I'm not saying I'm talking about illegal trading and people standing in places that they're not. But, people are forced today to understand, I need tonight to take money to my home. You see, that's the bare basics of business. And I've got such a passion, because that person knows that if I take this thing that I may have, this vegetable, and I sell it, and I make on that a certain amount of money, extra money, I'm going to be able to buy bread tonight. Now imagine that person learns how to sell more. How do we use time? How do we utilize it? How do we come out of it? They've got the basic instinct already of trade. We've made it so difficult that I'm telling you, when we go back to the I am factor and we start to understand how powerful that is inside of us, business will become something that we will just so enjoy again. All right, well, I'm starting to run out of time again. And for this week, I've got to wrap it up. I do want to invite you to listen to our programs. We are releasing more and more videos on Let's Talk Business as well. If you're a business person, you're more than welcome to watch it. It's on the same website, mishkia.com. And yes, there I go more into detail about business. If you are a business person, find out the I am, that thing inside of you that is still so perfectly intact. Forget the circumstances. Fight back. Business is not for sissies. You need to get up there, you need to get out there, and you need to go and get somebody else the value that they need today, because they do need it. From me, until next week, goodbye. Ek het amper op die einde